this is Character Design Review Episode 2, which I talk about a card series called Caster Chronicles, which also should not be confused with the aforementioned Caster Chronicles book series, which frankly probably was the least smart ideas you can do to name your brand, but I highly doubt very many people actually even heard of the book, so there's that concession. So let's move along to our very first caster we are reviewing over. This is Afternoon Rami, who is part of the Soulist group, who are represented by the sin of greed, who general gimmick that they are revolving around mining your own resources, as well forcing people to over-consume their own resources, so that they're general gimmick by default. So let's talk about her design. Her general costuming design is probably the best thing in general with most of the card designs, since Sane Face Syndrome is their #1 weakness with these. At least gotta get some credit, since it's a very well balanced dress with some nice looking ruffles and good use of color, and making great use of the aforementioned theme of Soulist, which is food based and stuff like that, as well making great use of her general theme, which seems to be revolving around toppings you put on top of your sweets and stuff. So far it's pretty average, pretty good design for the most part, so that means it gets like a 5 out of 4 from me, since it's such a extraordinarily interesting design, if more for the fact that everyone suffers from Sane Face Syndrome. This is not a problem with the monsters. They don't suffer from it unless they're a sexy lady. So, time to move along to our next card to talk about. This is Afternoon Tea, who is a type of monster, or servant as they call them, who are your baseline attackers, since your casters don't really do anything beyond generating mana, as well as using their effects. So far, this is a really good design, making great use of the general theme about these guys. It's literally a teapot with some weird gremlin thing in there, holding up a plate of sweets to give to you, or trying to poison you if you're the enemy. So far, great use of color, general strong silhouette, as well having a lot more personality than I could say for the previous young girl, as we're gonna point this out. So it gets a 5 out of 5 from me. So let's move on to our next card. This card is known as Ari, the world's most generic name. You could have named her something else, you guys. So far, she has a very strong theme with the concept of princess. As you can tell with her general design, seems to be very accurate of royalty and stuff. Plus, she's seen some strong theming with ice cream, as shown here with her little background decoration. As well, her staff thing seems to be one of those, not sure, I think it's supposed to be some stylized spear, which you can use to spear through people. I still wish EPO still doesn't suffer from the issue of Sane Face Syndrome, since I can't really glean what her personality she's supposed to have. So basically, they get a design of 4 out of 5 due to, my god, her generic face doesn't really help this, you know. Time to move on to the next card. This is Ara Citrus. Hey, at least she has a distinct name from the art that I talked about earlier these days. She seemed to have a very strong, if rustic, theme with her general outfit design. Since, let's be honest here, I still can't tell the difference between most of the appeal due to the unsuffered same face syndrome. That's a lot of things. The color balance is great since it made great use of the oranges and browns and whites, as well as taking advantage of her pale purple hair alongside having some nice little hair ribbons which look to be some type of stylized braid. As well, her stuff looked like one of those stirring spoons that you use for your teas and other form of liquids, I think. After her design doesn't seem to be very accurate of citrus, since I don't really see any very citrusy design, so it's pretty much a case of non-intricate name. So far, the design gets good enough rating, I guess, because of the fact that most of the characters had designs that, while they are great, biggest problem they suffer from same face syndrome. And you're probably not gonna like me harping on it over and over again, so there you go. So, time to move on to the next card. This is Anazai, who's part of the very first deck archetype that we got, called the Earnest type. So far, her general design seems to be very accurate of a normal drummer you're usually going to see in your most bands, as well punk rock deck, since it really does fare very well. I feel I also still a bit questioning why the hell is she serving not the main line, but she's technically a background character if you think about it. So far, she gets a very excellent design due to her having way more expressive emotion in her face and stuff. Heck, and other things. So let's move on to the next card. This is Beetleborn, a demon of gluttony. More specifically, I think she's the leader of the demon soul shade with the solstice line and stuff, so her general outfit seems to look like to be a weirdly decaying thing. I think it's supposed to be a reference to how food eventually decay over time and stuff like that. As well as they seem to have a strawberry on her arm that I think is supposed to be a shield or something. Plus, she sort of had this weird offness to her since her weirdly pathetic smile is not really what I call trustworthy. Even though she is technically a servant to the girls. So, yeah. And her color palette seems to take advantage of a little bit of greens and reds to make it look very good. And considering that strawberry look really artificial and stuff, so there's that too. So far, the design gets a 5 out of 5. Bear chocolate is, like it says on the label, since it have a hat made from chocolate, eyeballs, and probably some form of sugary concoction that can be attached to it, since certain types of sugars don't really attach very well to certain types of chocolate, as well having a very strong aesthetic of one of the handmade dolls that you usually see once in a while, as well making great use of the color palette since it uses a lot more brown against it, since you barely see any utilization of the orange, which is only in form of the ribbons, as well as other things. Also, her little dress thing looks like to be made from some form of paper, as well as other things. So far, this design gets a 5 out of 5 due to that it's such an interesting looking design, as well as having a very artistic silhouette. Somewhere else, or I like to call it, I want to eat you good. Because look at all chops on the thing. It looks delicious if it was cooked, you know. So far, its silhouette is very distinct due to it looking like somebody merged 3 pigs together forcibly with human legs. Also, it should be noted that human flesh tastes like pork. That may explain for the heels. And look at a cute little curly tail. And also, all 3 of them are seeming wearing some for a hair decoration, as well as a collar with such a long lay on top of the front pork chop. And its pun is based off of Cerberus and roast. So, it got a 5 out of 5, mostly due to deliciousness. This is Crispy Cookies, our next card for today, and we are staring at a majestic trio that we are. Let's talk about the top cookie on the top, which is very interesting since it's just a pair of lips with candy cane teeth and Smarties dashed across on its left side due to mirroring issues, you know. Now up for us to talk about the one on our left, right, whatever, which have eyeballs and look like had teeth made from some type of, I don't know what that is, with some little sprinklings of candy everywhere with a few prominent red ones on its face, which are very interesting looking because it gives the impression that it's a bug. Now let's talk about the last one, which seems to be made from a lighter color cookie dough with Smarties and for its left side and some form of rocky looking candy on its right. It seems to share the same type of candy corn teeth that I share with the mouth one. So there you go. It's very interesting because they certainly catch my attention more than I can say for any of the girls in terms of their same faceness. So far it gets a 5 out of 5. This is Crunchy Rusk. I don't know what hell the Rusk part is supposed to mean, but I'm pretty sure I like to sound food based. So far, she is a very generic looking girl who had barely any of the toasting nature of it. Nice color palette, but she had very little to do with toast at all. If at all. So she gets like a 5 out of 2, I guess, with this, since I am wondering. This had nothing to do with bread. So, let's move along. Alari Tengu 48, who is part of the archetype of Tengu-based thing that seems to be based off of idol groups. So, let's talk about her overall design. So far, she has very much of her design seeming very inspired from Japanese style outfits, especially of the very old type, since she had the weird looking pompons I usually see around in most of the Tengu art I usually see. So far, her general design seems to be very much idol-esque with Japanese style flair to it. So I got nothing really special to say besides Same Face Syndrome. No matter what, I will not be able to get away from it. So basically, its design seems to be closer to 5 out of 3. So let's get going to the next part.